Fishing season is coming to a close as we're going to tackle the last big reveal for Bermuda Triangle.
Stand up! Vanguard!
Hey Cardfighters, welcome back to another Cardfight update, and today we've got the last VR boss unit for Bermuda Triangle for the upcoming Twinkle Melody set, and it's of course none other than the poster girl herself, Lupina. Now without any stretching of the matter, let's dive straight into these cards because they're quite interesting and they give Bermuda Triangle a different playstyle, which, you guessed it, already exists in Vanguard, but then for a different clan. And we're gonna start it off with the Grade 1 support card for this engine, which was already revealed last week, but I didn't cover the card because I assumed that it would be in the set itself, as we have this Grade 1 Freshers Innovate Rosalinda. And Rosalinda has the skill continues a Vanguard circle. During your turn, if a force marker is on this unit circle, your happiness heart Lupina on Vanguard circle gets power plus 10k. So if she basically is on a Vanguard circle with a force marker, we give the Vanguard an extra 10k power, so we get even more power onto the board, which is really nice. Now, she also has a consistency skill, as we have auto on Vanguard and Vanguard circle. When placed, cost Soul plus 1. Look at the 5 cards from the top of your deck, reveal up to 1 Happiness Heart Lupina or Unique Allure Dagny from among them, and put them into your hand and shuffle your deck. So it's basically somewhat of a Grade 3 searcher. The only difference is that this only looks for 2 specific cards, and it costs you a resource, which is Soul, but it is a +1. So it's somewhat between the Grade 3 searcher and the top 7 searcher we've seen with the other effects. Only in this case it also works on Vanguard circle, which gives it a bit more versatility depending on the playstyle. And as we're going to see, that soul won't be a big issue for the deck, because that soul can be generated with the Grade 2 support card, which is Unique Allure Dagny. And her abilities are continuous on Vanguard circle. During your turn, if there is a force marker on this unit circle, the original critical of the Happiness Heart Lupina on your Vanguard circle becomes 2. So where the Grade 1 gives our Vanguard an extra 10k power when it's on a force marker, this unit gives the Vanguard an additional critical, or it turns the critical to 2. So that means we can empower our Vanguard with quite a sizable power chunk, as well as giving it 2 criticals, which also means we give some value behind those high numbered attack we're generating. Now, her second ability is where we attain all the resources that we need for this deck, and that's auto Vanguard to Vanguard circle. When placed, Soul charge 1. If Happiness Heart Lupina or Freshers Innovate Rosalinda is on your Vanguard circle or Vanguard circle, Soul charge 1. So in a lot of the cases it's just Soul charge 1, which is fine. But if the Grade 1 or the Grade 3 is on the field, it's a Soul charge 2, which can be really nice in combination with the Grade 1, which helps us to few more potential searches out for the Grade 2 and the Grade 3. Or as we're going to see, it will give us a lot of value with the Grade 3, which we're going to cover right now. Which is of course Happiness Heart Lupina. And Lupina has the skill Act on Vanguard circle. Once a turn, cost Soul Blast 2. Look at the 7 cards from the top of your deck, call up to 1 normal unit from among them to the Vanguard circle and shuffle your deck. If you called, get an imaginary gift force and put that marker on the Vanguard circle that unit is on. So basically we get a +1 onto the field for Soul Blast 2, and we gain an extra force marker. This is a really nice interaction with the Grade 1 and Grade 2, because the moment that we write the Lupina, we get 1 force marker, so we can put the force marker on the circle where we're going to place the Grade 1 or the Grade 2, and then we check the top 7, and hopefully we get the other one, then we can call to the field and also give them one a force marker, thus giving those units an extra 10k power, because we're probably going to play with force 1, as you're going to see with the other ability, and the fact that we can generate this many. And then those 2 units give our Vanguard an extra critical and extra 10k power, making it a 23k beater with double critical on the very first Grade 3 turn, while also empowering those Grade 2 and Grade 1 or whatever other unit we might call, because we can call anything, which is really good, because even if we don't hit the Grade 2 or the Grade 1, we can combine this with any other potential powerful unit that can give us more value. So this card gives us a lot of options, and it's super generic, which allows us to do all kinds of things and synergizes with a lot of other potential sub-archetypes within Bermuda Triangle. But it's generating extra free pluses as well as the extra force markers isn't where this card stops, because we have one more layer on top of that, which makes this card pretty damn good, because that is auto and Vanguard circle. When it attacks, cost counter plus 1 and stand all of your rear guards on circles with a force marker. So On the very first grade 3 turn, we will have 2 force markers. So that means we can resend those 2 units, thus gaining 2 extra attacks, thus having 5 attacks in one single turn, which can be really powerful. But this sounds very similar to something we've seen in the past. Because this skill is basically a Mordred Phantom done a little bit differently. And it's faster. Because Mordred Phantom need to go second in order to get their full power. Lupina doesn't care for that and can go first and still have 2 resendable units on that first turn, which is pretty damn good, and it isn't reliant on a specific card like Blessed or Dark. So if we're up against a control clan, we don't care because we can just fill those circles with whatever units we want and they will still restand. But now things are going to get interesting because we can generate extra force markers every single turn and we generate them where we call those units. Because we reset the units on top of those circles, that means we now have an incentive to also place those force markers in the back row. Because if we have one on every single circle, not counting the booster behind the Vanguard, because we cannot reset Lupina, but if we have a force mark on the front row circles, in the left and right column, and in the back row circles, the left and right column, we basically can reset our entire board. And we could do that on the second grade 3 turn if we can rewrite a new Lupina and then use her skill again to then generate 4 force markers in 2 grade 3 turns. And that can be very powerful to reset the entire board because it can give us potentially reusable on boost effects, or we can get more potential value out of on hit effects that are behind on boost on hit effects and that kind of stuff. So Lupina has a lot of potential in synergistic wise with other cards that might now become a lot better because we can swing twice with them even as attackers as well as boosters. But interesting enough, because this is an auto Vanguard circle skill when it attacks, this means it's yet another very powerful combo card for the Highlander Reindeer deck. Because keep in mind, Reindeer gets a force marker. Then with her skill we write into Lupina, we get another force marker. Which effectively generates the same exact scenario we would have created otherwise by just normal writing a Lupina and using her main phase ability. So in combination with Reindeer, we essentially get the same value. But as seen as Reindeer can also use other very powerful cards that can generate even more markers, like Aneshka, for example. If we went to an Aneshka and then the following turn into Lupina, that can be devastating because that will mean we have about 5 force markers and maybe 6 circles to work with. So that's a lot of potential with the restand capabilities of Lupina in that scenario. So Lupina can be a very solid foundation of her own engine because she's super generic and can work with any card. And there are probably interactions that we're overlooking because it is so generic. But on top of that, because she's so generic and so versatile, she will probably be used in different strategies as either a support card or maybe as a engine piece itself, like in the Reindeer Highlander strategy I just explained. So overall, I think Happiness to Heart Lupina isn't something mind-blowing that we came to expect of Bermuda Triangle, but it is a very solid card nonetheless, and it just works. It's super generic, it's relatively consistent, and her support cards make the Vanguard at least a bit more threatening, and depending on the other cards that are going to be revealed in this set, there is more potential for Lupina. Because interesting enough, even though the main archetypes have been revealed and most of the main support has now been shown to us, there are still 3 double R spots left, and I have no idea what those double R's are going to be because the Critical Sentinel is already revealed and we've got the Great Free Search and Triple R's already revealed. So either those are going to be super generic or they're going to be very specific archetype support cards. But personally, my suspicion is that those 3 cards are going to be the second support card for the original archetypes that are Coral, Pacifica, and Riviera. Because so far they only got those grade 1s and that's it. So as seen as there are 3 double R cards left, it's possible, but it might also be more support for Anj or for Lupina or maybe some other generic cards, maybe the budget builds. We have to wait and see. But that said, that's basically everything that we've got today. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think of these new cards for Bermuda Triangle. Do you think that Lupina is a very solid engine? Do you think it's quite basic and won't really do that much, or do you think there's a lot of potential and a lot of power? Keep in mind there are more cards revealed for Bermuda Triangle that I haven't really discussed in the channel, like Turia, for example, which is the Choo-Choo support card, which surprisingly is a Anji backup unit. I might or might not talk about that card and the rest of those support cards around that later this week. If you're interested in that, Also, let me know in the comments down below, and I might do that before Friday's live stream when we're going to get the first reveals of the Clan Selection Plus sets. So let me know all your thoughts in the comments section down below. This video has been brought to you by our lovely patrons over patreon.com/VanguardInsider. You guys are amazing. If you do want to support the channel or everything that's happening on the channel, you can simply go to patreon.com/VanguardInsider and become a patron today. But with that said, I'm Mr. Time Leap, and I see you guys in the next one!